Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Happy Wednesday. Hope everybody's feeling great today. I hope the day is falling into some good ease or started off with some good joy. Okay. Um, and it's December 13th. The year is slowly but surely trickling to an end. And not even slowly. That's when, to me, it's just like rapid fire. But the year's definitely coming to a close. Um, so whatever that means for you right now, whether it's getting all these gifts for all these children, or just trying to get to the finish line before you're officially on vacation from work. um, maybe you got that good vacation coming up. Listen, bless your heart and your soul. I think it's going to be fabulous for you. But whatever you got going on, I do hope that the holidays are filled with some good joy and some good cheer for you. And we're going to have a conversation that's hopefully going to add to that good vibe for yourself. Okay. So if you're here with me, definitely drop up in the comments and say a hello. We always love to see that. I'm going to get a little tea. Yeah, I love Christmas. See, I got my little holiday mugs. um, so also, if you're catching this on the replay, drop replay in the comments. We love to hear it. We love to see it. All right. So this conversation today is talking about really the way that you see yourself and how you speak to yourself and how you interact with yourself. Um, all under that auspice of self-love, right? And what that looks like and feels like for you, especially as it pertains to authenticity and how you can be more of your truest self in more places and spaces. Okay. And what that looks like for you, because it is very different for every person. Okay. So, this is an open conversation, y'all. Y'all know how we flow. Listen, you might drop in the comments with a good amen, or you might drop in the comments with a tip or something that you've been doing that's very helpful that might inspire or help somebody else. Okay. So I wanted to share just even a little bit more about my story for some who may or may not know, um, around just even my life professionally and how I got into the space of styling, etc. Um, but for me, and even I'm gonna take it even a little bit further back. Even I'm gonna take it probably to like middle school transitioning into high school. I know that's a far rewind. I'm a little bit older than probably what you think. So, um, when I was making the transition from middle school to high school, I was going from public school into private school. And it was definitely like, okay, wait, we putting the big girl panties on. Whoa, because I'm entering a space where there's a lot more money, there's a lot more resources, um, there are a lot more students who are smart, athletic, and like in it, I've been riding horses since I was 4. I've been playing ball since I was 5. Like that's the thing you do. Like you found your thing and you're in it, right? um and so as I was entering into that space, I went from middle school, where I was the president of the school and I was top dog. you know, okay? I went from that energy and feeling like clear about what I wanted to do, and, that I was going to crush the world, and like there was a certain feeling of an unstoppable energy that I had. I was like, I felt really good. Um and that was because I was affirmed in that. Teachers, coaches, I was affirmed in that. They were like, yo, go to high school, beast it out. I was like, bet. And I was going down one path for high school. And then all of a sudden, I made a pivot into this private school space. So, like I said, I went from being like kind of top dog to feeling like, I'm actually feeling very intimidated in this new space where there are so many people who are smart and intelligent. And I easily stood out and rose to the top in one space. But now I'm in this space, and I kind of even felt like I lost a bit of my identity, because I was like, well, I was known for this. I was president of school. I was smart. I was athletic. I was doing my thing. Now I'm like, well, I'm not a full athlete because I haven't been doing a sport all of my life, and I'm not a full dancer or a full whatever it is, all the different monikers and cliques and all the things that happen in high school and generally in life, right? We love to we love names, we love labels, we love boxes, and sometimes it can be a helpful element, and sometimes it can feel very limiting. So, I was like, man, I'm not necessarily feeling like I'm in one space specifically, but I'm in a lot of different spaces. What does that mean? And instead of feeling like me tapping into the elements of myself that felt the most, authentic, but the most true and sort of like a natural talent in space, I began to like doubt and wonder, well, can I be this and this? I feel like this is kind of like a or space. You're either an athlete, or you're smart, or you're theater, right? It's like or. And I didn't realize until a few years ago, really, that the power of and, that word. I was in a coaching program and somebody was breaking that down, and I was like, oof, and spoke to my soul. But there's such power in the word and so in my teenage years, I didn't know that, and I very much was in a space where I was wondering, you know, who am I? What's my purpose? Like where do I really shine? Before I thought I could be so bright, and now I'm like, ooh, I feel like the light is dimming and getting dimmed, and there are other people doing these other things, and this person's way more talented than me. I don't think there's space for me there or here. All of this noise. If you hear me or you feeling me, you're like, child, yes, been there. Drop a yes up in the comments. Um, but we can enter sometimes spaces, and who we are comes to question, oftentimes by ourselves, and in some cases by others. And so we can start to feel like we aren't clear about what makes us magic, right? What makes us unique, what makes us special. And sometimes we feel like we have to choose one special thing or the other, right? Like, well, I choose this one thing over this one, because I can't have both of them. And if you've ever been or are in a space of feeling like there's an or, and you have to choose one or the other, I invite you to the land of and, where you might make a decision for it right now, but keep the door open for the other option if it's not available for you in this space and time, because it's definitely available for you as a whole. So, I wanted to kind of open up with that element. And some of you probably might be like, you're all in the story. You're like, wait a minute, so what happened? So what happened? So what happened? We'll make a long story short. But, essentially did fine in high school, found different groups that I was a part of, and found my group with the smart Black girls. Okay. But it definitely wasn't until later on in life, even after college and getting more into my later 20s and 30s, that I started to then embrace more of myself in terms of these other spaces that I felt like I was talented or interested in. And that led to, doing all and sometimes doing all the things that, you've been like raised to do. Go to school, get a great education. Like when I went to college, I wanted to major in communications. I didn't. I changed into marketing and business because low key fam was like, "What you gonna do with a communications degree?" I was like, "I'm gonna be a television producer," and they're like, "That's not really a good job." I think you should make a change. Don't you want to be an engineer, doctor, a lawyer? It's like no, no, and no. So I made shifts, went into business, did that, got a degree, left, worked in IBM, was in the corporate space, and spent all of my corporate time in the world of management consulting. And, in that space was where I definitely gained more confidence and more assuredness in the talent and the magic that I brought to the table. And I think, when you're young, there's less limitations. There can be, depending on so many factors, there can be less limitations on yourself because no one's told you no, or no one's told you can't do something. But then at a certain time, it kicks in, right? Someone or something happens, and you start to feel like, ooh, I can't do this thing, or I can't be this part of myself, right? You start to feel some level of rejection or some level of this is not acceptable, this is not appropriate, this is not how we're supposed to do things up in here. And it affects the way that you think, it affects the way that you interact with people, it affects what you say, it affects what degree you pursue, what career you pursue, right? And so, I've said this in many spaces, how other people's opinions can prevent you from being your truest self, pursuing your biggest dreams, being your authentic self, right? And so it takes time, and it takes, like sometimes, like it takes what it takes. Like, it takes going through, right? To almost like get over the feelings of inadequacy, and get over into a new place where you start to embrace more of what makes you unique. So, in my career and going through all of these different stages, I definitely held true as much as possible to what I thought and felt like may be distinct in spaces. That was probably a through line for me. And, again, I want to invite you, if you haven't already found that, to always be on the lookout for what you feel differentiates you, sets you apart in spaces in the most favorable way, in the most uplifting way, in the most impactful way, right? In the way that feels very good for you and your soul in the depths of your toes, right? I want to invite you to find that space for yourself if you haven't already. And this is a journey. This is something that takes time, because sometimes we put pressures on ourselves, others put pressures on us, family, friends, colleagues, spouses, kids, like you name it, right? There's so many ways that you can have experiences that impact what decisions or what desires you might have around what career you want to pursue, right? Where you want to live, like having the courage to start out in full-time entrepreneurship. Hello, right? Or even just start that business, period, right? Like, especially when it comes to our career and in that space of like, what do you do and where are you going to spend a good portion of the time of your life? Like, what is and are the things that you're going to dedicate your life and time to that are going to feel very good to who you naturally, talently in the talent space are, like your natural gifts, right? um and that you enjoy, right? Because sometimes you have natural gifts and that's like not a passion, not a space you want to devote time to. But a lot of times in other cases, there are things that you are doing that feel really great and really specific to you, unlocking the thing that you do incredibly well or the things that you do incredibly well. So I wanted to share all of that with you, and hopefully you putting some of the puzzle pieces together of what I'm laying down around just the fact that it takes time and it is a journey, and you have to go through a lot of different experiences as you build up this muscle of appreciation for who you are. And as I heard recently from someone saying this, a book I'm reading called Riches F All the Rest. um, she said, "How you be?" And I was like, "Yeah, how you gonna be in the place? How you be in these spaces? Like, you have to go through so many hoops and hurdles to really understand what that looks like for you." And sometimes it comes with ease. You might be listening to this and be like, "Well, I got my thing." And I'm like, "Well, amen to you." Okay. But for many of us, there's a path, there's a journey where we have to go through spaces of self-doubt, of fear, and you have to do that in order to understand what you really love and appreciate about yourself. What's up, Portia? Um, so that's a personal journey. That is a very personal journey for you. So if that is one your own that you're on, um, I hope that even hearing a snippet of mine, like as a serious throwback, is helpful for you, even in knowing like to keep going and knowing that things will unlock. So I think this term of like self-love is a big one. And sometimes it's just a big term, right? And it deservedly so, because this is talking about how you feel about you, point blank and period, how you feel about you. And there should be a foundational, like baseline of love and gratitude and appreciation that you have for yourself. And it might not always feel super huge. Sometimes it will feel small. Sometimes it's going to be incredibly amazing. But at the baseline is that it's there. I think that's what's most important. Is baseline. You can come back to a space where you can say something that is self-affirming, that you can journal and be up in that space of acknowledging all of your successes. Like you can come back to those spaces and it feels good, and it feels authentic. It feels like something that is celebratory for you and you want to do it. So especially now when the end of the year is happening, this is a really important time to celebrate yourself, right? Break out the journal, girl, have yourself a self-celebration party. That's about to be a thing. Okay? And honor yourself, big up yourself for all the incredible things that you achieved this year. And there might be things connected to your career. There might be the promotion that you wanted that you got. There might be the money that you asked for that you got. There might be the clients you wanted to serve, the speaking engagements, starting the business, whatever it is that was a milestone for you and you got it. Sis, let me give you some of this love, okay? Like, take time to journal, reflect, talk about it, and get that love out there for yourself. Because if you don't do it for you as a starting point, you damn sure can't expect anybody else to. Boop, boop. Okay? Like, the love has to begin and end with you, always. So the love comes from these kinds of acts of gratitude and acknowledgement for what you're doing and how you're growing. I also want you to take time to acknowledge where things didn't work out quite the way you wanted them to, and the spaces where you grew, right? Sometimes we don't give enough effort and attention to growth. Like, I wanted to achieve this goal, but how far did you get? Right? So whether that was a goal, if you're a business owner and it's a revenue goal, you might not have hit it, but how far did you get? Right? That is still to be acknowledged and celebrated. If you're looking at your career and you wanted to make some moves this year, maybe the promotion didn't happen. What other things did you do to help position yourself for that, where maybe you made some great relationships with folks, or maybe you did some really great work on some projects? Like, acknowledge the spaces where you can appreciate and send some love to yourself. That's super, super huge, especially within your career. Like, that's a big one, because again, we spend so much of our time and effort at work. Right? It's a big space for many of us. We spend so much time and effort there. So find the ways to appreciate yourself in that space. Another space that I really definitely encourage you to continuously grow in your love and your appreciation for yourself is definitely in your health and in your body. Okay? How you see yourself is so significant to your growth and your evolution, right? How you see yourself, how you talk to yourself. And y'all know what I mean. Y'all, you like, talk to yourself. Like, listen, first of all, if you ain't talking to yourself, like, who are you? You gotta be telling yourself, and talking to yourself might not be verbal. There's always the voice in your head, okay? And that voice sometimes is so loud, all right? So you're always having thoughts about yourself, whether you verbalize them or not, right? And what are you saying about yourself when it comes to your body and your appearance, right? If you gained weight, if you lost weight, if you are having a baby, had a baby, maybe you had other shifts within your body this year. It's especially as women, our bodies and how we see them and how we feel about them can be a sensitive space. It can be one that can encourage us, and it can be one that can diminish us so quickly. Sometimes we can be so unkind to ourselves, and it can send you on a spiral. Okay? You gain some weight and you were like, Lord have mercy. Like, I didn't achieve the goals that I set for myself this year. I wanted to lose this weight. I gained weight. Like, what? I fell off my exercise routine. The whole thing, right? And it's real. Like, you might feel that, and like, I ain't gonna tell you, just shake it off. It's gonna be okay. Nah. Like that ain't real. Like you can be disappointed. Like you can be upset with yourself because you didn't, achieve what you desire. Like that's okay. That's that's okay. It's natural. We all feel that, you know? But also, right? We talked about the power of and, okay? It's not just or, right? It's like also I have the space to grow and to switch this up because staying in the space where you diminish yourself or talk negatively about yourself, staying there, that's when it gets problematic, right? When you just stay and you sit in that energy. Like that's when you be up in some quicksand, right? Like you literally are just like you're just digging a hole for yourself when you stay there, and it gets harder to get up out the hole. So you can have the moments in the spaces where you feel the fear, where you feel the disappointment, where you might even feel the failure, right? But are you going to stay there? Are you going to have your day? Are you going to have your moment of going on the rant, of eating the ice cream and watching a Christmas story and feeling down? And then what you gonna do? Then how you gonna talk to yourself and get yourself up out the hole, right? Like what we doing? Okay. There's gotta be that first element of some kind of spark for yourself where you're like, I want something different. So if I want something different, I gotta do something different. I gotta be something different. I gotta think something different, right? That's it, right? Like we all about this growth mindset. 100%. So, when you're thinking about that and you're just thinking about how and you're reflecting, right? This is a big end of the year space of reflection. You're reflecting on things that may have happened, that you're celebrating, things that didn't happen, that you're disappointed about, and all the things in between. Like live it, be it, experience it, feel it, and then decide what needs to happen for you to feel better about yourself so that you can change the situation or the circumstance or the outcome, right? And get closer to what you actually desire. Okay, so that's really the power of self-love, whether that's love for yourself with your body and your health, with your goals, like in any flavor of life, in work, in family, in personal, etc. Like when you really tap in and you have some love and appreciation for yourself, and that's a baseline, like we don't go lower than this. There's always going to be some love and appreciation I have for myself. Even there's only one thing that I can say right now because I'm so disappointed about what I didn't accomplish this year, about not getting that promotion, and you're so pissed, right? Or you're so disappointed and you're just feeling like, I don't know what direction to go in with my career now, what to do. Do I stay at this job? Do I find another one? Ugh, I hate looking for a job. It's so hard. The economy, the world. It's so easy to spiral. Okay. It is so easy to spiral. But I encourage you to go back to that baseline of finding the space of gratitude and acknowledgement of how you have grown, of what you did do in order to shift your outcomes and get closer to what you desire. Because you did do something. Okay? You didn't spend the entire year just sitting on the couch doing nothing. You did a lot. And so you want to acknowledge these spaces. You want to acknowledge these spaces for yourself. And that's it. Like the self-love, like we were saying like earlier, it could be such a big term. And it's like, do you have self-love? And you're like, of course I got it. Or like, I don't know. Like you do want to have it. And you do want to acknowledge that that's something that you desire and something that you want to experience. And the experience of it is not always this grandiose idea of like, yes, I have self-love, just like, self-care, and I'm pampering myself and I'm going to the spa and getting my massage every single month, and I'm going on vacation and I'm doing all, like, we hear these words and I don't know about y'all, but oftentimes I hear these words. I speak for myself. Oftentimes I can hear these words and I'm like, it looks like this, right? And it can also, and it can look like other things. Okay? It could simply look like going for a walk. It can simply look like getting dressed and picking out something that makes you smile. It can simply look like looking in the mirror and telling yourself, I'm proud of you in the journey you're on. It can simply look like journaling. It can look like so many ways that you can celebrate yourself and acknowledge some love and appreciation for who you are and who you're becoming. Okay? Yeah, Portia, that funk, girl. Okay? But we are more than capable. I love that. We are more than capable of doing something different. Portia also says silencing the noise. Ooh, will help you move forward. Yeah, people do talk about, yeah, I'm sure you hear a lot of people talking about the tough job market and they internalize that energy. So the job search process is very challenging. Sips tea. Listen, like, what the things that are happening to you or happening around you or for you or with you or connected to you, like your current circumstances, this is a hard little nugget. This is a hard one that every now and then I hear it again and I'm like, for real? But it's a reflection of you. It is a reflection of you. There's a piece of you or pieces that are, I don't know if contributing is the right word, but the space and the energy and the state, the existence that you're in, it's a reflection of you. Like, you attract what you are. You attract what you are. So if you want to get some love for your body and all of the different facets in the stage that your body is in now, today, come on, you got to give some love to the body. Okay? So you can begin to attract the change, the transformation that you desire. Okay? You want that better job? You want to become manager? You want to become part of the C-suite? Like, you are what you attract. So, how are you being? How are you becoming? How are you embodying all that you desire? And in a lot of cases, when we're talking about this, especially when it comes to the workplace, in your business and all the different ways that you are trying to grow within your profession, there are countless times where doubt can set in about what feels good and what feels right and what feels appropriate to do or to say, in any of these kinds of cases, in the important meeting with the client. What do you have to say in order to close the deal or get the new business, right? You're having that important meeting with your manager to talk about the promotion you want. Oh, what am I supposed to say? What's the right things to say? I've got interviews lined up. How should I act in the interviews? What should I wear to the interviews? Because I want to make sure I'm seen as professional. All the things. There's constantly thoughts about what kind of impression I should make. How should I show up? Right? We hear these notions all the time. How should I show up? What kind of impression you want to make? Make sure it's a good one, because the first one is forever. It's so much. So, me, I'm always going to come on, extend the invitation to you to know who you are, because when you have clarity about who you are, you find a lot more ease to feel empowered to be yourself and be authentic in those spaces and scenarios. And that will lead to a lot more favorable outcomes. Guaranteed. Right? Because there's a direct connection. There's a direct line between feeling more authentic and feeling more confident. There's a direct correlation in that. And self-love, self-confidence, appreciation, it's all tied and connected. So you're not going to be able to find a really genuine level of love and appreciation for yourself if you're not being authentic about yourself. That's basically the end of it, y'all. The live is basically over. I could just drink to finish my recipe. I mean, that's it. That's really it. If you take nothing else, take that. It's that much connected. And you can find so many examples, whether these are other women in your job, in your career, in your family, whether they're celebrities, it doesn't matter. The more that they just leaned all the way in and said, like, you know what? This is the type of person that I am. Whether you're introverted, extroverted, quirky, energetic, outspoken, like whatever it is that is unique and ornate to yourself, the more that you just say, F it, and I'm going to be true to myself and put less effort into trying to be something that I'm not, because I'm afraid of all these other outcomes, or I think I'll have better outcomes if I do that. The more you let go of those kinds of notions, like the more things will begin to shift and things will begin to change, and you will have some great, I'm feeling really good about how I'm showing up on a day-to-day basis. I'm feeling really good about how people are interacting and receiving me in these spaces. I'm feeling really good, to Portia's point, that I am less exhausted about the thousands of questions in my mind about how I should show up when I'm going about my day. I'm way less exhausted. I'm way less exhausted thinking about code switching and changing up my voice. I'm way less exhausted thinking about changing my hair and whether it's okay to be natural in the workplace. I'm way less exhausted thinking about, can I wear these bold colors to work? Because somebody won't think I'm on team too much. You just don't care. there's a certain level of no F's given that is required for success. Okay, can we talk about it? There is, and there's a certain level of that is required for you to deeply connect and appreciate yourself, because you got to do that first. And that's what matters more than other people's opinions of you. Way more. So dig in, all the toes, 10 deep. All right. And know for yourself, like, this is a journey. I said this, but this is a journey. Like, it will change, it will shift. There are going to be some times where you're going to walk in spaces and you might not feel so confident. You might feel unsure about how you should present yourself. You might feel unsure and be like, you know what, I'll wear the gray suit because I'm nervous and I don't know this space and I don't know these people, and I just kind of want to keep it, I want to keep it safe going into this space, and like, this is what I'm going to do. And then once I get comfortable, I'm going to start bringing more of myself to the table. It might look like that for you. I'm not going to tell you that's wrong, but what I'm going to tell you is you want to feel, you definitely want to feel less stressed. You definitely want to feel more ease. You definitely want to feel more confident. So do and be whatever's going to help you feel more confident in a space. And I think the more you lean into understanding that it's going to take away, let me put this in the more of the positive perspective. It's going to add more to you in a favorable way to show up more strongly if you are coming as you are, arriving as you are, showing up as you are. If you're doing that, you are going to have a walk that is going to have you with your shoulders back and your head high and walking into the space knowing, yeah, I'm me. I'm not any other carbon copy or imitation. I'm not any of these other things. I'm me. And I think that's for some people, that's like a really big declaration to take, a really big stance to take, to simply be yourself, to simply like be yourself, to talk like yourself, walk, dress, to be yourself. And it seems like such a simple thing, but it's so nuanced and it's so complex. And we see it all the time. And hands up if like, the journey, honey boo, the journey to me feeling like I can walk into a board meeting or a coffee shop and be like, this is me. I don't need to straighten my hair. I don't need to take off my red lipstick. I don't need to take off my big ass necklace. Like, I don't need to strip down or remove or subdue any parts of myself because I want to fit in. That's not what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about, I can't wait to show up as who I am, because people are going to get all of this richness, baby. They're going to get all this melanin, baby, right? Like, they're going to get all of me, and they're going to be over the moon excited about who I am because I'm excited about who I am. Love it. Okay. So yes, your journey is going to look different. It's going to be yours, and it's entirely up to you around how this all unfolds for you in terms of being and feeling authentic. But I definitely know the more you stay connected to what habits and what mindsets and what communities and what spaces you can be in that are going to like further cement you in love and appreciation for yourself, you're going to find it to be a lot more easy and a lot more empowering to be yourself anywhere you go. That's it. Okay? Like, yeah, it's real. Conformity is a really big space and value in the workplace. It's a huge one. You know, you're constantly being asked, and it's very different in other industries, you know, in the finance industry, in the law industry, like, it's a lot of pressure to conform. But I always say this. It's funny. I've done some talks recently about this for attorneys and folks who are in the finance industry, and you know, I talked to them about how conformity is an ingrained value of their industry. Also, it's so ironic that when they think about people within those industries in particular who have been successful and are in a space that they may admire or are inspired by, these people are authentic to themselves. These people have found ways to differentiate themselves from their peers. They found ways to stand out. And how? Because they leaned into themselves. They leaned into their unique perspective. They were not afraid to be vocal about their opinion. Like they took a certain leap outside of the norm in some way, shape, or form. All right. And they're like, and it's whether that's just vocally sharing their thoughts, like in some way, they have tapped into like their talents and are like, I'm going all the way in, all the way in. And that brings out so many favorable opportunities. And so if you desire that, like at some point, the conformity, you don't have to say bye. You have to say bye bye. Okay, you're gonna have to make some kind of departure. But you know, if you just want to be in the widget line and just be in the assembly line and just, you know, output the work, you know, like, you know, like a field of other people, that's cool if that's what you want. But I know it's not what you want. At least if you're watching this and rocking with me, that's not what you want. You want more. You want more. Okay. Wait, Portia said one time someone was interviewing and waiting in the lobby, asked me about a dress code. I looked at him and said, even if there was a dress code, I certainly wouldn't care. Listen, you got to be true to yourself out here. Okay? Like, you got to be true to yourself. You really do. And and the more you know yourself and have clarity about yourself, the easier it is going to be to feel powerful in your walk in life, especially in your career. It's just going to get a lot easier. So listen, y'all, this is my time. I'm sending you so much great love and inspiration and motivation and encouragement for the rest of this year to be wonderful and for 2024 to be explosively exciting for you. I believe this is my last LinkedIn Live of this year. I think so. I had to look at my calendar, but I think this is. Let me look at my calendar real quick before I be like, see y'all later in 2024. Yeah, okay, yes, this is my last one. Hey. So listen, well, I'm so grateful for y'all who rocked with me and have been part of these LinkedIn lives. And these lives are not just on LinkedIn, they also broadcast to YouTube and my Facebook page. So if you've been catching it there too, I appreciate you. And we're gonna keep this channel and this space alive going into the new year. There's going to be some more interviews with some other phenomenal women that I know who are just dope in what they do, okay, and who they are, and really understand the power of confidence, authenticity, and of course, style, and be bringing it every day. So we're going to be doing some more interviews with them. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited for the new year and the new space. And I am so excited for the fabulous rest that I'm going to get and the fabulous time that I'm going to have watching A Christmas Story. All right, y'all. Happy holidays. And I will catch you in 2024. All right. Peace.